Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Ladies and gentlemen, the first time I've ever tried Wagyu beef. For those of you that don't know what Wagyu beef is, look it up. It is supposed to be the very best beef in the world, and it is imported from Japan. The piece that you're looking at right here is Wagyu A5, which is the highest ranked Wagyu beef that is made or raised in Japan. Now I got this piece of beef from Tommy G's, our local butcher, and it was very pricey. What you're looking at here is probably what a small solar generator would cost, but it's something that my wife and I said, let's give it a try once and see how it is and see what all the hype is about. After I show you the few short minutes of me preparing the Wagyu beef and then tasting it, and spoiler alert, Victor is going to be tasting it. Of course, Victor had to show up to this preparation of Wagyu beef because he could smell the Wagyu beef from his new house, even though it hasn't been cooked yet. But anyways, Victor's going to be here to give it a taste test. I hope you enjoy the video. Afterward, we're going to be doing a little bit of Q&A from the last 2 live streams that we had. I went through the videos and picked out some questions that you all had that I did not have time to answer or just did not catch during the live stream. So enjoy. So what I'm going to do is I plan on frying this up or grilling it in my air fryer nonetheless. I'll be grilling this in my air fryer. I plan on grilling it in about 2.5 to 3 hours. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do what's called dry brining. And dry brining is just simply salting it on both sides. And what that does is it allows the salt to extract the water from the meat, and then that salty water or that brine gets sucked back into the meat before you grill it. Now take a look at this. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. That is what makes Wagyu Wagyu. It's the marbling. And we all know that the flavor is in the fat. Now this literally looks like it's at least 50% fat. Like I said, I've never had it. And the fat is so tender that it starts to melt in your hands just with your body heat. So you can't really handle it too much. Now what I'm going to do, like I said, is I'm just going to salt it on both sides. I'm going to place it in the refrigerator for about the next 2.5 to 3 hours, just like that in open air. And then when we come back, I'm going to go ahead and put this in the air fryer. I might have to trim it just a little bit to make sure that it fits completely in the air fryer. But we're going to put it in the air fryer with the thermostat or the thermometer to make sure that it cooks up to the exact temperature, because this is definitely not a piece of meat that you want to ruin. So when I say that it's a once in a lifetime experience, that's probably what it's going to be, okay? Unless one of you want to go ahead and send me one over the mail. They do have dry ice. Just kidding. Let's go ahead and salt this up. Now what I'm using here is just some sea salt. And from what I understand, I've been told that kosher is the best to use, but I've used sea salt in my steaks plenty, and they always come out good. And I've also been told to make sure that you don't under season it, because you want to make sure that all of this salt penetrates all the way through the steak. That way you can have the best experience possible, especially with a cut like this. You don't have to worry about putting salt over the pure fat areas, because the fat will not extract any water. So we'll just make sure that we evenly coat this. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, now I'm going to go ahead and put this in the fridge, let it sit there for a few hours, and then we'll bring you back when we cook it and taste it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here you go. And look at this. Remember that salt I put on there? A lot of it didn't even dissolve because of how much fat there's on this meat. So what I'm going to do now, before I put it in the air fryers, I'm going to trim this piece of fat off. And I'm going to save this piece of fat to use as grease to cook other stuff, like maybe some eggs or hamburger or something like that. Because this fat right here, I'm guessing is about $60 worth of fat. Wagyu fat that is. All right. So I'm going to trim this up. We're going to come back when the air fryer is to temperature. We're going to stick the thermometer in it, and then the magic is going to happen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready. I've got the air fryer heated up to about 450 degrees. We're going to put the thermometer here right in the middle of the meat. And then let's go ahead and put it in the air fryer. I've got it set for medium, and right now it's at 44-degree internal temperature. Let me show you real quick. So as soon as it reaches about 131, 132 degrees, I'm taking it out of there and letting it rest. So we'll see you in a few minutes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to flip it. Let's see what it looks like. Look at that. Holy smokes. Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you all that I only seasoned it with the salt that you saw me put on it. And then I also put a little bit of pepper, and that's it. Look at that. We're almost done. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. That is beautiful. Now we're going to let it sit here and rest for at least a good 5 to 7 minutes. And then we will start the festivities. Oh my goodness. If you want to know what it smells like beef butter. It smells like butter and beef combined. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, look at this. Oh my goodness.
It looks tasty.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, guess who showed up today?
As soon as the food was done, yes.
Victor showed up on the one day that we were cooking Wagyu. I wonder why.
Because I wanted to eat the Wagyu.
That there's no way that you can't say that that's not a beautiful cut of steak. Now, being that I am the cook, I have to do a quality control test to see what it's like. Let's see. Look at that. See how nice that air fryer is? It puts a nice crust on it. What do you think, Victor? Will that pass the test, Victor?
Yeah, pass.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it. Victor says it was delicious. I actually already had a little piece because I had to do a Q&A test, all right, quality assurance. But now we're going to end this video and go enjoy the rest of that steak because I got some people in the living room that are like, hurry up. Was it that good, Victor? They're like, hurry up, shut up, get that video done so we can eat. What do you think about that steak, ladies and gentlemen? You have to live a little bit, okay? So I know there's going to be some haters out there. I would never spend that much money on that steak. Ladies and gentlemen, you have to live a little bit, all right? And I'll tell you what, it was a great experience. In my opinion, I know I didn't really give this opinion on that part of the video about the steak, is that it was a little too fatty. So my wife did a little more research on Wagyu steak from Japan. And of course, they come in 5 different grades from A1 all the way to A5. And they said that A1 only has about 21% fat. And that A5, the one that we had, it was over 50% fat. Like I said on the video, I didn't know that for a fact at that time when I said it. But that A5 is over 50% fat. I think I would like it if it was like A2 or A3. But the taste, the flavor was out of this world. The best tasting steak I've ever had in my life. And the only seasoning I put on it, as you saw, was just some salt and some black pepper. That's it. So if you can give it a try, give it a try. And that air fryer is awesome. I like that air fryer better than my outside grill. I don't think I'll use my outside grill this summer. I'll just keep using my air fryer because it does such a great job. All right, let's go ahead and get a few questions answered. I think there's a couple of comments in here as well, but let's get a few questions answered that I missed during my last, I think it was 2 live streams. The first one is from Deborah Ramirez. AP, I need to get a small generator. What would you recommend? Well, if you don't have a gasoline-powered or multi-fuel powered generator, or a solar generator, personally, I would get a multi-fuel generator first, because there is not going to be any problem with you not having sun. As long as you have gasoline or liquid propane or natural gas, whatever kind of generator you get, personally, I would rather have at least a dual fuel generator, like a gasoline slash propane generator. That way it gives you more options. You're a little more diversified in how you can fuel that generator. I would get a gas powered generator first before I got a solar generator. So what you need to do is take a look at the video. I'm going to leave it in the upper right hand corner. I think it's going to show up there, upper right hand corner, a little card where I show you how to determine what size generator you need to get. Now really, it depends on how much money you want to spend on a generator. All right, you can get from the pretty decent quality for a few $100s to a very, very good quality like a Honda for like $2,000. Now that small Furman generator that I bought this last year and the small Yamaha that I bought the year before then, those two generators have worked very, very well, and I got them in the mid 300 range, I believe it was, at Costco. Those two are great. And if you're looking for a small solar generator, I have to say this because this is how I feel. So far, for the money, the Opus that I reviewed last, and I'm not affiliated with this company, ladies and gentlemen, I just have to tell you this because I like that solar generator. I think that for the money, $600 and something after the 20% off for a 1,000 watt hour generator that has a lithium iron battery, lithium phosphate iron battery, I think it is, right? That has 2,500 life cycles or charge cycles. I think that's a great deal for that solar generator. So go check out that video, Deborah, and you will find out what size generator you need, and then whatever's in your budget, you'll be able to decide. But pretty much any medium range generator, as far as price, is probably going to last you a while, because you're not going to be using it every single day. If you're going to use it every single day, then I would get the very best that I can afford. Right? But like the Furman and the Yamaha I have, those were medium range price generators. They're doing a great job, and they've never failed me when I needed them. Okay. Duggan Prepper asks, can anyone shed light on the shortage of saltine crackers? Kind of strange. Now, I don't know why there's a shortage of saltine crackers. Maybe it's a local thing. At our Costco, we have saltine crackers available, so maybe it's a local thing. And although I don't have an answer, the reason that I put this question up is maybe someone out there does and can leave it in the comments. All right? Cynthia, can I use a pressure canner on a portable hot plate? I have a glass top stove. I did a video a couple of years ago, I think it was, where I actually did a pressure canning session on a small camping stove. It was one of those indoor, outdoor camping stoves that ran on butane, and I was able to do a full 90-minute processing session on that little stove. So I would say that the answer is yes, depending on what kind of stove it is that you have, whether your pressure canner is going to fit on it, whether it's going to take the weight, all that kind of stuff you have to take into consideration. Deborah Haynes, did you hear that Russia has a missile pointed at Alaska? I just heard it from you, Deborah. I had no idea, but what I have to say to that is that if they do, they do. When we prepare, we can only prepare for those things that we can control. And we can't control what Russia is doing with their missiles, just like they can't control what they're doing with ours. So if they do, I can only hope that they'll never use it. And if they ever do use it, I can only hope that it will not be very near us. And if it is, then it's in God's hands. Mama Jules asks, AP, do you know anything about a potato shortage? Our caterer told us we couldn't have any potatoes on our menu. Well, from what I understand, Mama Jules, is that we didn't have a very good potato harvest last year. I think we were a few percentage points lower than what we normally are, and now that's carried, that small shortage has carried over into this year. Now, I haven't really noticed a potato shortage here in Alaska. My wife just went to Costco a couple days ago and grabbed a bag of potatoes. So I don't know of any shortages in our local area. If anyone does, please leave it in the comments. JT has a great comment, and it is a comment that I love because I think that in the end, ladies and gentlemen, good always prevails over evil. And JT says, The Socrates computer program says that Klaus Schwab and his group will fail. And for those of you that don't know what the Socrates computer program is, it is a computer software program that Martin Armstrong, who is a lifelong economist, who, by the way, was jailed by the U.S. government for contempt for, I believe it was 8 years. Now, listen to what I said. He was jailed for contempt. Not that he committed a crime, but that he wasn't doing something that the court wanted him to do. Now, what is that the court wanted him to do that he wasn't doing? He wasn't giving up his Socrates software computer program to the government. The Socrates computer program that he developed is a computer program that predicts things that are going to happen in the world. And I think he predicted a couple of stock market crashes with that program and a couple of wars with that program as well. The government really wanted it bad. The judge said, give up the program or you're going to jail for contempt. He said, put me in jail. I think he spent like 8 years in jail for that, ladies and gentlemen. So for those of you that don't think that we have political prisoners here in the U.S., we definitely do. Veronica Zuniga, do you think grid down is imminent? I do. I think that eventually we will have a grid down in the entire world. When? I don't know. And let me tell you why it is that I think that we will eventually have a grid down worldwide where we will go back to the Stone Age. Number one, because we will eventually be hit by a massive coronal mass ejection from the sun. It's just a matter of time. That is something that we cannot stop. I don't know how many of you heard about the 40 Starlink satellites that were lost due to some type of a solar storm that was occurring just as the satellites were being deployed into our atmosphere. That is nothing, ladies and gentlemen. If we have another coronal mass ejection like happened back in, I believe it was September of 1859, it's over. And we all know that our infrastructure, our electrical infrastructure is not set up to take a massive coronal mass ejection of the same size that hit us back in 1859. Will it happen again? I'm pretty certain that it will. Another thing that really would hinder us in being able to protect ourselves or our infrastructure from a CME is that we are going into a period in history where our poles are shifting. And it is weakening our atmosphere. I believe it is our magnetosphere that is being weakened. Don't quote me on that, all right? But I believe it's our magnetosphere. All right, now, since our atmosphere is less stronger, it's more weak, it's like 90% weaker than what it normally is, it gives even more of a doorway, of an entrance for any large CME to cause even more damage. So do I believe it will happen? Eventually, yes, it will. I Love Jesus asks, hey AP, will you be doing a live show on the 26th? It will be my daughter's birthday and she loves your show and would love a shout out on her birthday. She's my little prepper. Her name is Autumn. Well, I will not be doing a show on the 26th, okay? But I will be doing a show today, a live stream today at 2 p.m. Alaska time, 6 p.m. Eastern time. So please be there and I will make sure that I keep this and put a post-it note on my computer so that I don't forget. And just in case Autumn cannot be there during the live, Autumn, happy birthday to you. All right, make sure you always listen to your mom, by the way. All right, thank you very much for being your mom's helper with prepping. And I truly do hope that the good Lord blesses you with many more birthdays in the years to come. God bless you. Maria C7 asks, is it true that we are getting avocado? We are not getting avocados from Mexico anymore. Now, I did put up an article about that here a few days ago, I think, or last week in the Alaska Prepper News channel about the U.S. stopping imports of avocados from Mexico. However, I believe that they did restart it. Now, the reason that they stopped it is because the inspectors that inspected the avocados in Mexico, they were getting threats. So they put a halt to it until they investigated it, and I do believe that they restarted it. All right? Thank you for that question. Now, let me see if I can pronounce this okay. Reynold Hergenrother. We have lived under the illusion of freedom all of our lives. Now the reality is on our face. Now, this isn't a question, it's a statement, and one that I really agree with. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the illusion of freedom. We have the illusion of choice. All right, we have the illusion of choice because, in my opinion, our vote doesn't count. You can think what you want to think, of course, but I agree with Reynolds 100%. We have the illusion of freedom, but we are not free. As long as the Federal Reserve is around, we will never be free. And as long as we have a government that is more interested in controlling us than in making sure that we can retain our liberties, then we will not be free. But one day I feel that we will be free. We will. And people will find out. A lot of these people that are for freedom, we will find out that freedom is not easy. But in my opinion, it is well worth it. Last one, Atta Girl Prepping. Hey AP, how do I store water in 55-gallon drums outside? Hot summers and a little bit of freezing in the winter. Well, for the freezing part, I would make sure that I did not fill them up all the way. All right, maybe leave about 10% of empty headspace in the drum, and that I would not seal the lid 100% in the winter. Okay, that's what I would do to make sure that you can give it a little bit of room to expand. I've got a 55-gallon gallon barrel here, one of those blue ones as well. And I do that in the winter. I leave water in it. It's never cracked or anything like that. As far as treating the water, if you are using tap water and you're rotating that water, meaning that you're using that water up and you're refilling it with fresh water, then I would say you don't have to put any kind of treatment in it whatsoever. But if you're just letting it sit there, then you definitely want to treat it with, I would say you can treat it with a little bit of chlorine. But if you're using tap water, the municipality that provides you with your water more than likely already uses chlorine in it. So if you're using tap water, you can just let it be, make sure it's nice and sealed, and then make sure that you rotate that water out every 6 months. If you're not using tap water, let's say you're using well water, then I would probably put a little bit of chlorine in there. Go find out how much chlorine you need per gallon of water. All right, it's like 8 drops per gallon of water. But if you're already using clean water, then it's probably a little bit less than that. But I would make sure to rotate it. And for the summertime, I would make sure that they are stored somewhere where they are not in direct sunlight. So store them somewhere in the shade. Make sure that if it's not municipal water, that you treat it with chlorine. Always make sure that you rotate it if you can. And for the winter time, make sure that you have some headspace on that barrel. That way your barrel won't crack as the water expands when it freezes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you got something out of this, and I hope that you enjoyed the video. Having said that, remember, we do have a live stream this afternoon at 2 p.m. Alaska time. And again, to Autumn, happy birthday. Remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. I'm Alaska Prepper. I am out.